Good afternoon, everybody. So we had a wonderful session earlier by Dr. Pokuti. He said earlier in the beginning that, he's not a designer, but I want to actually remind all of us, one of the most important and exciting phases of design as we get into the design world is the user experience. And that's what, you're creating wonderful magic through your sound design. So therefore, you're indeed a designer, and I'm very, very happy to have met you today as part of the WDO. So I'm going to take us through a few minutes of our time, because World Design Organization is an organization which all of us should be aware of, and we have a lot of interesting opportunities for us. I also want to present the current board of directors. Just 4 days ago, we elected a new set of board. Where is Pradyumna Vyas here by any chance? He's on his way. So Pradyumna Vyas has been elected as the board member for the second time. So he was a board member earlier in the 2007-2009. And as you can see, this is the world body of design promoting the industrial design. So what do? So we actually connect design communities around the globe through very powerful programs. We interact with city governments to educate them what design can do collectively for a better world. We also engage members globally because we are an organization of members. And then we share the knowledge with our members as well as the community at large. And these are our core values. We actually were known as ICSID, International Council of Societies of Industrial Design. So industrial design is our primary focus. So we continue to do that. And we respect and embrace diversity, sustainable consumption. Sustainability is one of our key goals. As you can see on one of my pins, I've given it to some of us out here. So there are 17 sustainable goals that we have adopted to create a better world for all of us. This is how we inspire, we motivate, and we enact. That's what we do. So in the recent past, the importance of design in international development has become prominent in our lives. And together with design, we are also making sure that we create sustainable products so we preserve the environment for the future generation. So how do we do that? So we redefined, we were called ICSID, but subsequently we changed our name to World Design Organization because we felt the boundaries of design are collapsing, are colliding. Therefore, no longer we are worried about industrial design, but we are also worried about the user experience. We are also worried about the universal design. We are also worried about how cities can use design to make a better life for all of us. So therefore, we changed the definition to include, as we can see the definition, a better quality of life through products, systems, and services together. So we have some excellent programs through which we portray this value. One of them is World Design Capital, where a city comes out to show the world how good they are and what do they do to design a better place for its citizens. So it's every 2 years. 2020 is Lille in France. 2022, Bangalore narrowly lost to a city called Valencia in Spain. So we continue to inspire the cities. They spend the 365 days through different programs of design, and they also bring about what they do for different segments of the society. That's what is important. It's just not a glittering ceremony like this, but it's also how do we bring design to the forefront of citizens. So we also have a Design Impact Prize, which is out here. So where we identify those programs which are solving a society's problems. So in this context, I would like to share one of the solutions that came up very close to winning. This is an NGO from Pune. So they identified the need to keep the children who are malnourished. So they come up with a plan of producing laddus, which are protein-rich, and they offer them laddus. Giving a laddu is not the important aspect here, but is also to make sure they want to monitor the health of those malnourished children. So that was one of the programs that we did. And we also did inter-design. So in 2014, we did Wellinger Institute of Management in Matunga. They came together. So inter-design is a program which goes through 2 weeks of intense design workshop where a city's problems or a community's problems are solved by an international designers who have no idea about that problem, along with a bunch of designers who come from that territory who knows how to solve the problem. So humanizing a metropolis was a theme that was given, where we actually had sub-6 themes, saying how we can solve the problems of a huge metropolitan city like Mumbai, where garbage collection is a problem, living in the rain is a problem. How do we create kitchens which are zero waste? Those are some of the themes that I was fortunate to be associated with that throughout the 2-week period in 2014. Some of us out here was also there. And then we also have the World Design Talks, because Interdesign is a 2-week long program, so not every year we are able to do. After 2014, it's already 5 years. We have still not had another Interdesign. So, but then we miniaturize into a 1 or 2 day program in the same spirit of solving a problem. So we actually created that out of the Interdesign, where we went to different cities around the globe, and then we picked one of the sustainable goals, which is mobility. So we went to different places where the traffic congestion is at its height. Istanbul, Shanghai, Mexico City, and then Rabat. We did this program where we invited people who are trying to solve the transportation problem for their city, along with a bunch of designers, and then the students. They are the future designers of the cities. So how do we come together and work in a program which is submitted to the government at the end of the 2-day program? So these are some of the, quickly we can move through. So this is one of those World Design Impact Prizes. As I took over as the president of World Design Organizations just last week, I gave 3 major focuses for me during the next 2 years as I tried to bring design from different parts of the world. One of them is membership value, and the second one is World Design Impact Prize. So this one out here, which was done in Kenya, where the marginalized community, the poor people, we have the same example here in India as well. They used to burn firewood on the side of the street, which is very familiar to all of us. And due to that, there was a lot of pollution happening, and they also did not have the time to clean up. They just cook, drop it on the side, they just go, city becomes dirty. So the NGO that came together, they built this wonderful kitchen where anybody can come. There's no fees, there's no money needed. You can come in, use the utensils, cook in a proper way, so we can dispose of the materials that are being used, and then you can go. So that was a program that they did. They actually won a prize in the year 2012. Similarly, this is another very interesting program that we identified, where a bunch of university PhD students from UK, along with some other students out here in India, they came up with the idea, we need to really take care of those syringes that are being used by the hospitals and doctors around the nation. Especially in India, they found out 2/3 of the syringes that we are using from a brand new packet are already containing some kind of contamination. So this is something they found out through the study, and this was one of the award winners of the World Design Impact Prize. So that's the power of the design that we identify. The third one is, Warka water. After we identified this one in Ethiopia, where rains come maybe once a year, maybe sometimes not even once a year. So when the rains come, they really want to gather the rain and not waste even a drop of it. I was born in Chennai, I've seen how much trouble people are going through to get a bucket of water. And especially when there is acute shortage, there's literally fighting, by women, by men, by children. They all fight to get to the little truck, which comes with the water, so that they can get their pail of water. So I think that's one of the second difficult resource is water in this world. I still remember in 2015 at IIT Mumbai, where we conducted a workshop on water, because water is one of those resources that we are running short on. So that's something that we identified. The community built. When we build something, we always like it. If you buy something from outside, maybe it's okay, but if you build something your own in your home, then you want to keep it. Even though we say it's no use, let's throw it. No. I want to keep it. You can throw the rest of the stuff. So that's what they built together. They also used it as a community center where they got together almost on a weekly basis to enjoy. So this is very important for all of us, especially how many of us are below 35 here? Can we raise your hands? Great. The world belongs to you, so you need to pay attention to this more than us. We used a lot of the resources that the Mother Earth gave to us without any concern about the future generations. So therefore, that generation which is below 35, UN felt that we need to really take care of the universe for the future generations, whereby they can have the similar resources that the current generation is enjoying and they have enjoyed in our youth. So that's what we need to worry about. Please take a moment. So they are feeling in 2015, they felt that in 15 years, we could change the world. Unfortunately, it's already 4 years now. We have made very less progress with respect to sustainability. So now they have already moved this to 2045 because they are not able to fulfill all of their goals. We all know about climate change and some of the other stuff, but please spend some more time to learn the 17 goals, because some of you may be touching all of the 17 goals in your day-to-day life without even realizing that you are either spoiling or you are contributing. So it will be something that I would very much like to ask all of us to pay some attention, because it's very important for us in the future. So as World Design Organization, design involves, there are few goals that are very specific to us where design can be influenced by these goals. So number 11 is very important for us, where we are building sustainable communities, which actually takes care of the other goals. So we're going to run quickly. What businesses can do to support SDG? Today, what all we are doing, I would request, since it's a Business World conference, so the businesses should really take a moment and look at right from the supply chain. What are all the things where all we can try and improve to make sure that we adopt SDG in some form or the other? That's what I'm not going to repeat that. You can connect. On the same topic, I was quite surprised, very pleasantly, that the Niti Aayog, if you look at this link that I have provided, it's such an elaborate report that they have prepared to denote the progress that India has made in the last few years. So most of us, we are not even aware of what we are doing, but I would request you to look at this, because this particular index that they are capturing clearly marks every single goal, every single state in India. For each state, for each goal, there is a beautiful infograph on the website. So please take a look at it. Unfortunately, the Maharashtra is not one of the 4 runners. So Himachal Pradesh and Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Chandigarh and Puducherry are the ones. And several other states are actually following. So far, we have not got somebody who is a performer, which means, they have not achieved all of the goals yet. Let's look at how does the global landscape look like. It's a complete chaos and a complete mess. And we are the human beings who are creating to this chaos through our own known acts and unknown acts as well. So in a text form, billions of web users, globalized markets. Previously, we used to wonder, and we used to worry about, if this is a mango season, then we will get the mangoes. But today, there is no such season. Boundaries are gone. You can get mango from wherever because the global markets are there. Same way, we used to buy clothes maybe 3 times, 4 times. There's, Diwali, your birthday, and other days. But today, you don't need to wait for those scenarios. So global markets are good. At the same time, they're also contributing to the mess that we have seen in the beginning. Social media, we'll see that. Digitally enabled. Colliding generations, There is no single things of good or bad. We have seen even in our lifestyle, what was not good is currently good, acceptable. I won't get there. Also, Internet of Things. Everything is measured. You need to measure every single minute of our lives. Every single moment we breathe, we need to measure, not only measure, but we also need to share it with others so that they feel what we feel. So that's the life we are living. Data is pressurizing us. Data is burying us. Every single day, every single moment, data is there. So now let's look at what is innovation. Innovation is a method that uses creativity to solve the problem. All of us know that. Also involves creating and bringing something new to the market. This is the yesterday. There was no problem. You just go to the market in Matunga, just buy whatever you wanted. Today, that's not the case. Let's look at what we do today. If you have to buy something, I do it myself. So we go there, we buy, because you want your partner to know, your sons to know, your other people to know. You just look at this nice little jacket, you just take a picture. Honey, how does it look? Right? We also have some of the software that tells you how you look within that, and then we share it with others, get some community feedback. It's all about data, so it's not that easy to buy anything today as opposed to what it was a few years ago. So the importance of innovation, it's been proven, businesses, especially in the US and elsewhere, if they do not invent, if they do not spend money on innovation, they are dying. There are several examples, including the great Kodak is a good example. Nokia is a good example. Kodak used to be one of the top companies when we love to have photography from Kodak, but they did not invent. They did not adopt. They did not spend energy to create better products. Therefore, today, Kodak is kind of confused. They are making printers, they are making IoT sensors. Their main business of cameras and photography is gone because they felt eventually people will continue to buy their paper. But that did not happen. So that's one of the examples. So there are good examples where people have used Apple, Samsung, and all these companies are using design to put into better use. Today, whether you like it or not, these are the companies that are taking over our lives. Amazon, Flipkart, Google, these are the companies using technology and artificial intelligence and data. They are into our minds. So therefore, they take over our lives in a realistic manner. Factors of innovation. Every business, first of all, the universe is around us. We are the people who are taking out our credit card, our checks, or cash. The universe is looking at people like us to buy the products and services. Therefore, the businesses are worried about how can they take the money or provide good, useful services and products using design innovation and technology. So that's where we see that. So we'll take a quick look at it. They look at the market and user study. Long back, maybe 20 years back, companies used to what is called as an R&D. They spend 6% or 12% of their budgets to come up with their own products, but they never asked the user, what do you want? Would you like this blue color jacket? They never asked. They produced. That's why sometimes it used to bomb and used to get in sales at a very throwaway price because they failed to read the consumer's desire. But today, it's no longer possible. You need to find out what would the potential customer like us would like to have, spend a lot of time upfront, spend a lot of money. They go to 20 cities. They look at trends. They go to companies, ask them to find what they want. Therefore, they can produce something. Then they also look at technical feasibility. And then usability and ergonomics is something which we definitely need to pay attention to. What did the companies do? They do design. Today, the position of Chief Design Officer is a very critical position, which was not there a few years back. The designers were given, especially for some of our, I see some design professors out here. So design was always given the back seat. Designers were never allowed into the boardroom. They were always told, okay, you wait there, when we need, we'll call, then you can go back. But that days are gone. Now we need to have designers in the forefront alongside the business people. The VP of marketing, VP of finance, VP of technology. Now we also need the VP of design or the chief design officer. Differentiating product. In India, we are used to having, first of all, we were not used to having orange juice as part of our breakfast. Fast forward a few years, we started having orange juice because it became part of the breakfast, like in the West. But we still used to squeeze the orange, in our mixie or blender or whatever. But then fast forward, the companies started coming. 25 orange juice brands are there today. So how do you differentiate? Design makes it, maybe the bottle is different, maybe there is a pulp there is no pulp, sugar, no sugar, all those things, started differentiating the same orange juice now we are used to. Reaching the target market in unique ways of selling, some promotions and gaining an edge. So that's what today we are doing. The key thing here is we are engaging with the users much more than what we were doing even 10 years ago. Again, in India, there's a scale of difference in some markets. In some markets, we are very high. In other markets, we are still lagging behind. Innovation challenges. Today, again, the physical design is kind of going down or merging with the digital design. So we are actually looking at phygital. The new terms are being thrown on us. Now we are in the phygital age where there is a physical and digital coming together to give us a beautiful products. It also causes a lot of problem. Who wants to go to a florist, in the US, to go and order flowers? We just call 1-800-Flowers, or just go in your app, 1-800-Flowers. So those jobs are gone. How many of us have sent letters in the last 2 years to your mom, to your wife, to your girlfriend, to your boyfriend? That is gone. Nobody's doing. How many of us have sent, in US, we always send gifts during Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day. No longer we send. We just send an Amazon gift coupon. It's easy digitally. And then small startups are causing major problems for the bigger companies because quickly they can take a quick decision. Technology is there, and they can upset the plans of a larger companies. So political and economic policy. Suddenly there is a tariff from Trump getting into other countries. So those things which we don't know, those are some of the innovation challenges which we need to worry about. Use of technology. Everybody is worried about their smart devices. Today we can see app influence coming in the governments all around the globe. Anything and everything we can do. I don't know if we can vote in India using our phones, but maybe those days are coming very fast. And then culture plays an important aspect in every different geographies, in India too. So we have a culture influence coming in our products. And our shopping experiences have changed. We have Shah Rukh Khan asking people to go to Big Basket and vice versa. So those are some of our day-to-day lives we have to worry about. Of course, cost comparison easy. The traditional businesses are put to great inconvenience because you can go to the standard store, take a little app, scan the code, and quickly check what is the price on Flipkart. So technology is good as well as bad because it's causing job losses. The same technology is helping us to compare the prices. Communication is a lot easy. What is a trend? How to watch or why to watch a trend? Because that's what tells us it's a two-way traffic. Those who are in the branding business, they know you need to influence the people so that you can build those kind of products. I was just, as soon as I became the president a few days back, some of my old friends, from 80s, they sent me the pictures where I was attending some of the friends' wedding. They asked me, do you remember me because you were in my wedding? And I was wearing a trouser that is, this big, at the bottom, because that was the fashion. So it's kind of changing our minds where we want to really throw those now and get into narrow. So we really need to, it helps the businesses because we are kind of predicting what could be the scenario. How do we watch trends? Everybody is thinking, suddenly you go to the shop, no longer the narrow trousers are available. For women, it's already coming back to long bottoms. And also color. There are color predictors, right? What's the color going to be next year? They give some fancy names. So Pantone always comes with the shades that we need to. So these are some of the indicators. We are not go into this for want of time. This is what I think is going to happen as we look at it. the apps in our, how many of us are having more than 10 apps in our phones? Come on, be honest here. The apps that we don't use, but we download. Everybody is downloading apps on a daily basis. The current usage of apps will disappear. Can anybody say why they will disappear? Or how they will still be useful? We're going to use voice. We're not going to be even having that patience to pull that app out of our phone. We're going to have, say, get me this. That's how the world is moving. And this is very true even in India. Today, if you go and look into the business class of any of the flights, previously, I'm talking 30 years, when I first left the country and went to the US, you couldn't see any of the Indian faces in the business class. If you saw somebody, it would be from the Tata, Birla kind of families where they were really super rich kind of guys. But today you walk into the business class of the flight, you probably find more than 60-70% of them are Indian because the affordability has changed. The price points have changed dramatically to allow us the luxury. And everybody wants. So everybody wants to go on vacation, get a car. Look at the number of cars that we have in our nation. At that time, there were only 2 car manufacturers. Today, there are 50 of them in this country. So that's what happened. Big data. Big data is always a myth. Now we are bringing them to behave more predictably. It's like the weather channels. Governance is made digital. And health is new wealth. Even in India, we got health as one of the key parameters. And virtual reality is going to be coming into us. Augmented reality is another area which will keep us going. These two combined together are used for very useful. Most of us will only know the gaming, but these are going to solve realistic health problems as well as design challenges when we are looking at some of the critical designs that are for complicated machinery. AR will actually help us. And simplicity in design and usage are going to be the winners. Design thinking in-house, more and more people are going to do. For those individual designers, we are having a slightly problematic scenario because companies are not using designers. They want to have in-house designers. They don't use design houses like Lumium because they have their own teams inside. So how do we handle, as we look at the future of design? We need to become, the designers have a huge challenge. Previously, they knew how to just create the form factor. When you say designer, I'm from NID, I'm from this, I'm from that. But you are really giving a form, giving a shape to an idea, giving an expression to an idea. But no longer that designer is valid, no longer he is being called because the beautiful line that you learn how to put between 2 dots is no longer needed because there are enough technology that produces. Of course, you learn the technology and you create even more beautiful line. More lines are created because you learn how to make that line, but you need to become a lot more technology savvy than in the yesteryear. So that is one challenge that we all have for designers. Future design is a mix of functionality. You should be more worried about user and usability. Why is this product needed? I always say this, in the past we did a lot of designs for the sake of getting awards, but that trend is gone. We are creating new products and new designs are coming where they are more useful to people rather than just for the awards that we are looking for. The result of all of our future experiences in design is we need to be culturally relevant, memorable, and the key is engaging the user in your design. And that brings me to a last slide. I have 53 seconds. Thank you very much for listening to me. So if you have any questions, very brief, I will give you a brief answer so that we keep the time as much as we can. And I'm available. Yes?
What's your favorite design product?
What is my favorite design product that I designed? Or?
Any solution. Anything in the world that you think is your favorite design, which you think is a beautiful product.
I will have to think about it because there are so many beautiful things. Okay. And I don't believe that is the one that we designed, but there are much more beautiful things. Yeah, there's one question by the lady. I always like to have a fair distribution of both the genders. Yes, yes, ma'am. Can we speak louder, or you can come in the front?
So my question to you is, you just mentioned in your last on your last slide that companies are no more using Lumium as a design agency because they like to have in-house design. So, hello.
Yeah, I got it so far.
Yeah, so companies are moreover now using in-house design. So I want to understand that. What do you think is that the way to go, or you still have a because it's an external agency, should we go that way, or what are the pros and cons in both ways? Because I believe the more and more you have in-house design, it is more closer to business, and the understanding for branding as well as design thinking is much better.
I think not every company will be able to afford. So what is the reason for that trend? Previously, the designers are called to create an expression of their product, their idea, to a certain segment of users. And then you go away, they produce, you submit a design, they take it to the manufacturing, and then they sell and support it for a few years before they come back to you and say, now we want another product, so can you come back? Larger companies, let's say for want of another name, maybe a Unilever kind of company, where there are multiple SKUs being produced. They're producing maybe 600, 700 products in a year. Then the engagement model is very difficult if you're an external entity. Therefore, there is a need. For example, Titan, they produce maybe 7, 8 different lines of product, probably 1,000 products come out. So it's impossible for them to engage. When you engage with an external entity, the contract, statement of work, there is some amount of negotiation of doing this, doing that. All these things come into play. Therefore, they feel it's a lot more easier, even though it will be expensive to hire a team of designers in-house and continue to give them salaries and benefits. They feel it's a lot more accessible, because the key thing is they have put their design in their mind of the board of directors or the CEO or the management. So that's the point I was trying to make. So it does not mean that if you're trying to start a studio, don't start it. Please start it, because the world is too large. As an example, we are all standing on the banks of a river where water is going. The amount of water you want to take would be only judged by the pail that you are able to carry. If you have a bucket which is only 5 liters, you can only take 5 liters of water at one time, and you can't be grudging me. Maybe I have 20-liter bucket and I'm strong, I can take 20 liters. So you don't cry why this fellow is taking 20 liters. It's all up to us. So even though I said that there's a change in our attitude, there are enough companies. Don't go to the big company, they go to the smaller ones which will love your work, because they cannot afford a designer and they want to really work with the experience. The other aspect why companies come to studios like Lumium is the diversity. On one day we are designing a fan, next day we are designing a bus, and third day we are designing a personal, a product for, women or men. So the diversity, the richness of design experience comes from a studio. Therefore, there is market for, it's a water example for all of us.
I'd like to mention I represent a company's design studio, which is why I was keen to understand the difference between the two.
I hope I answered your
Yes,
question.
you did. Thank you.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm available, so we can always talk later.